Okay, I'm going to admit to something. Coming out of Monday Night Raw tonight, I was a little bit confused because WWE wants me to believe that there is a brand extension. SmackDown has its own dedicated roster, Raw has its own dedicated roster, and what we saw in that final segment on Raw tonight, that was supposed to be the go-home segment for their pay-per-view that's coming up this Sunday. Was it just me, or did that seem like some shit that would have happened pre-brand extension on Monday Night Raw? Then you get the tag team match in the main event of SmackDown, and that's the final segment right there. Like, I'm looking at this whole thing, and it seems as if there's a missing link somewhere. Not somewhere, right at the end. That didn't seem like they were building up to two separate title matches. It seemed like they were building up to a tag team match. So it puts me in a weird position where I'm wondering, as a viewer, why should I care about Roman Reigns versus Rusev? Why should I care about Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens? And I can't find an answer to that question, and WWE did not provide me with an answer to that question. So I sit here wondering, okay, what the hell am I going to do? Well, I do have an answer to that question. I'm going to go the fuck in. Because here's the thing when it comes to Monday Night Raw. The reason why I did not make a video last week is because, flat out, the show was boring as hell. And there was absolutely nothing that I can do with that. And that's one of the worst things that you can be in wrestling. Not one of, the worst thing that you can be in wrestling. Boring. Because I could work with bad, I could work with terrible. That gets me hyped up, and there's some shit that I can talk about there. Of course, I would prefer for the shows to be entertaining because that is the optimal situation. But I realize that this is not just a week, a one-off thing for Monday Night Raw. It's a systemic issue, and that is what is terrible. So thank you for giving me something to talk about, and I'm going to talk about it in this video here. Let's start off with Roman Reigns. If you didn't know before tonight, it is very clear that they are protecting this damn dude when it comes to him and his speaking time on the mic. Just look at the times when Roman Reigns is getting ready to speak. Like, he got out like one line tonight. Stephanie interrupted him. And this isn't the first time something like this has happened. Take a look at that segment that they did in the ring with the four guys who were competing in the Fatal 4-Way for the Universal Championship. Everybody else had their speaking time. When it got over to Roman Reigns, what does he do? He jumps up and starts throwing haymakers and shit like that. And there have been a few more instances where stuff like that has happened. And it's very clear that they're protecting this guy. I understand. And I need you guys to understand this. I'm not complaining because they're protecting him per se. But here's my issue. Because I understand the whole thing when it comes to downplay a guy's weaknesses and play up his strengths. They're downplaying his weaknesses. Where the fuck are the strengths? Where are they? Because I look at Roman Reigns right now, and he is a man without a country. I don't know who he is. There's no easily identifiable character to him. And I don't know what his motivations are. There's nothing that gets me to a point where I feel anything for this guy. Who he is does not resonate with me. I saw that ending segment on Raw, getting the shit beat out of him. Didn't feel anything at all. I can't get any sympathy for the guy. I can't get hype when I see him. And I don't know, like, who is Roman Reigns right now? I don't even think they have an answer to that question. Like, what are his motivations? What drives him? What pushes him forward? And then when he had the opportunity to talk about his motivations and wanting to kick Triple H's ass and kick so-and-so's ass in that opening segment, you had Mick Foley come down and he's talking about how, we need to be a big family over here. This is a family Monday Night Raw. And, if we lose the ratings war to SmackDown, everything is going to crumble. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck are you even talking about? It's a problem when you try to force a WCW versus WWF narrative with SmackDown versus Raw when they're all under the same umbrella. As if SmackDown or Raw losing the ratings to SmackDown, everybody's going to lose their fucking job now. What sense does that make? You're sitting there telling that man, put your personal ambition aside and look out for the overall brand. What sense does that make? Him being placated like that would do nothing but make him seem like a bitch. oh, well, I wanted to beat somebody's ass, but I'm so glad that you told me to calm down. Team Red, baby. Let me go back and grab one of those stupid ass shirts with the Raw logo on there. I can't hate, I can't stand that brand loyalty bullshit. Makes no sense at all. You're telling somebody to forsake their personal ambition and their personal motives for the overall brand. Makes no sense at all. Let's go ahead and move over to Seth Rollins now. When it comes to the soap opera portion of this storyline with him, Stephanie, and Triple H, and me being a big soap fan, like, I kid you not, after I finish making this video, I'm watching General Hospital today. But, me being a soap fan, I can give WWE props on the soap opera aspect of this storyline that's building up between Stephanie, Seth Rollins, and Triple H. They're doing a damn good job there. Everything else, a hot-ass motherfucking mess. I look at Seth Rollins, and I want to see more fury out of him. I want to see more rage. I want to see him pissed off at the fact that he was cheated out of the Universal Championship. But we're in a situation where the character of Seth Rollins is more pissed off at the fact that he was betrayed by Triple H than he is at the fact that he is not the current Universal Champion. And when you realize that he is a character in a professional wrestling universe whose objective should always be to be at the top, to be the champion of the universe, when he's more pissed off that his daddy betrayed him than he is at the fact that he doesn't have the title, that is a problem. They have not done an effective job of playing up that frustration of Seth Rollins. And they had all of that shit that was going on with him in the ring 2 weeks ago. Great stuff. We didn't get a chance to feel that. And it sucks because what they should have done last week was Mick Foley, he was talking to Seth Rollins backstage, and I understand that you're pissed off. You know what? I want you to have some kind of lightning rod for all of that fury. So I'm going to book you in a match. You compete in the match, and whatever you want to dish out to that guy, you do it. As long as it's sanctioned in the ring. But you stay out of what's going on with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens. Do something like that. Give him an outlet to let out that fury. Because otherwise, it seems like he's just playing pranks and shit on, just bugging Kevin Owens, just pestering him. It doesn't rise to the level of seriousness where it's like, this guy got screwed and I can feel his pain. I'm not feeling his pain right now, and it's falling flat for me, the character of Seth Rollins. And then you got Kevin Owens with the people that he's, mixing it up with. If they're not striking, if they're not popping, he has absolutely nothing to play off of. And I don't have anything bad to say about Kevin Owens right now, but I don't have anything really good to say about him either. He needs to play off of somebody who's, like I said, who's popping. In Roman Reigns, he's not. Seth Rollins, they squandered that. Don't know what to feel about anything that's going on, but I know I don't really feel much at all. So I guess that's that. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's talk about the women's division on Raw. This thing that's going on with Bayley, it's really, it's not sitting well with me at all. Because I was thinking last week with Bayley being pinned that even though I had questions about it, because I have two eyes, and with the 6 eyes on the commentary table, none of them saw it and none of them called it out. I think I saw some, news item online saying that they couldn't have, they were barred from talking about it. But, that just makes them lose credibility when everybody with 2 fully functioning motherfucking eyes sees that all 4 shoulders are on the mat. So, yeah, they didn't mention that, but they brought it up this week, and now Bayley is in the match. I was thinking with her being pinned in the match last week that was them putting a pause on this aggressive push of Bayley on the main roster. But then we fast forward to this week, and she's in the title match. And I don't really know what to do with that, because this isn't the Bayley that I know from NXT. And I guess it's a situation where her overness is working to her detriment because she's put in a situation where they look at her and they say, well, the crowd really likes her. They love this girl. We got to do something with her. But in them using her in the way that they are, already a contender for the championship, already pinned the champion, that is not the Bayley that we know. And then the question from that point is, if that's not the Bayley that we know, then who the hell is she? Who is that girl that we see on Monday Night Raw? What is she about? What is her character? Because I'm used to the underdog Bayley working her way up to a point, but like I said, her overness is working at her detriment because they felt as if they had to do something with her nearly immediately, and she's right there. So it's just very hard for me to grasp what's happening with her, knowing how the character of Bayley works and where she's magic at. And they're not capturing that same magic. It just seems to me like she's just a popular girl that people like, and she's a contender for a championship. That's all. There's no depth to her or any type of, compelling characterization. And shit, people like her, so let's make her a contender. And that's it. And I guess that's ultimately what I was trying to say a few weeks ago when I said I didn't know what to think of Bayley. Now I know, and it ain't good. That mess of a segment where the 10-man tag, whatever that is, no, that's all I got to say about that. You know what? I actually do have a little bit more to say about that. When it comes to Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, I'm glad that they've taken a turn and they're like forcing this message on us now. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, they're not going to try to be entertaining anymore. They're just going to go into the ring and they're going to kick ass. And they did a great job of executing that story last week and giving us a sense of who these characters are going to be going forward. I didn't get that this week on the show, and that sucks. What else do we have? The Cruiserweights. They debuted on Monday Night Raw. We had a fatal four-way match to determine the number one contender for TJ Perkins' Cruiserweight Championship. That match is going to take place at Clash of the Champions on Sunday. I was really looking forward to this because of how great and how nearly perfectly executed the Cruiserweight Classic was. But then, as the days started to roll on, I realized how I really shouldn't have been hyped at all because it's a completely different scenario. They're up on Monday Night Raw with all of the other mess that's going on that show. And then you have the fact that Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan are not on commentary, and that's a big fucking deal because they did such a great job at being narrators in assisting with the story that was being told. Like a perfect narration of the action in the ring and then turning that into a story that can be understood. And it was just this perfectly balanced partnership between the competitors in the ring and the commentators at the table. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh my God, it was terrible, like run around with your head on fire and shit like that. Like, it's not at the point of panic, nowhere near it. I just did not like the way that this was executed, the debut of the Cruiserweight division, because like I said, somehow, some way, they found a way to tell stories and give people a sense of who these characters were in the Cruiserweight Classic. Having a fatal four-way where, everybody's bouncing all over the damn place, those stories did not translate well. And I felt like this was more of like a spot-to-spot type thing rather than a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. And shit, let's start at the beginning of that story and the fact that you didn't even have the Cruiserweight champion appear live on the show. There was no video package to introduce TJ Perkins to all of the people who did not watch the Cruiserweight Classic. And as great as it was, let's go ahead and face the fact that Monday Night Raw has, 2 or 3 million people tuning in. There are around 1 million people who are subscribed to the WWE Network. And I guarantee not every single one of those million watched the Cruiserweight Classic. So there's a great deal of the audience, majority of the audience, probably has no idea who the hell TJ Perkins is. And you have 4 people that they barely know in the ring competing over a championship that they don't even know exists. Interesting choice. Okay. No, that wasn't interesting at all. That was stupid as fuck. So yeah, this Cruiserweight division, I was really holding off just to see how they would execute this one. I don't think that this debut, it was, I don't think that this debut was good at all, but I wanted to see just how they would utilize a Cruiserweight, because I'm at a point right now where I'm honestly considering giving Monday Night Raw a break, or at the very least, just not watching the show live, because 3 hours is a lot to ask when you clearly do not have your shit together. I look at these characters on this show and they're not giving me a reason to support anyone, really. I'm sitting here and I'm like, why should I care about this? Why should I care about this person? I'm not invested in the quest that they're going on. And it's just a problem with Monday Night Raw, the fact that they just book for moment to moment. And I guess the big moment now we're waiting on is when Triple H comes back. And yeah, and then the fucked up part about it all is you don't even fully capitalize off of those moments so you can tell a story 2 weeks after it happens. 2 weeks after it fucking happens, you completely have just wasted all of the pop that you got from it, all of the intrigue and the compelling nature of the story, all of it's wasted, and you can't even maintain that. So it's like, if you can't even do justice to the big moments that you have, and that's all the fuck you have, shit, that's all you have. You got nothing after that. So they're not really giving me a reason to watch Monday Night Raw, and I want to get rid of this sense of obligation where it's like, oh, I gotta watch Monday Night Raw every Monday. I gotta rush home. I gotta, not go to the fucking gym. Gotta not get a haircut because I gotta watch Raw be there at this time. Fuck it. I'm not obligated to watch anymore, and I'm at that point right now. And I know there are some people out there who you're going to look at this video like, oh, you're so negative in this video and yada, yada, yada. That's perfectly fine. If you want to do that, more power to you. However, there is an alternate route to take here. If you want to have a conversation about anything that I discuss in this video and you want to express your disagreements and we can talk about it and shit, maybe you can give me a sense of something that I'm missing, because I'm not a perfect human being. I mean, I try, 99.9999% of the time, but there's that little one right there where I could be wrong, or it's not even just being wrong or right or wrong or anything like that. Just shit. I ask you, please allow me to see something from a different perspective. Help me out. What am I missing when it comes to Monday Night Raw? Please tell me. So if you want to get on me for being negative and stuff like that, shit, break it down. Where am I wrong? Where do I need to open my eyes up a little bit more? Do that for me. That's all I'm asking. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. I'll be back for SmackDown tomorrow night. Until then, peace out.